to lie to everybody and claim to be a man of God. What a joke. It's a joke. This is not the same man I met.
Well, I would concur. There have been radical changes in what I've seen and witnessed in the last few months. When the juries met, they elected governors, they elected court justices, they elected representatives, they elected senators. Is that viable and legal?
Don't know. I don't know about any of that. It's probably unlawful.
So part of the other frustration I have is where do you go to make those determinations? Who makes those determinations? How do you find out, you know?
I don't know. I think you wait until the FBI cleans everybody up and it gets all sorted out in court. Because, I mean, as far as I know, any part of elections are illegal.
Well, and then I go back to the question of, okay, so we have this republic. What are they going to do? Just sit there? Nothing? Are the juries going to do anything? Are they ever going to be able to do any enforcement, any execution on their orders? Is the de facto just going to be able to continue forever and ever and ever, never to collapse until it collapses under the own weight of its incompetence and its financial burdens and debt, and the dollar collapses and the foreign debt thing collapses and the central banking system collapses? I mean, what's the scenario?
I don't know what's on the boards in Vegas. I mean, what numbers are they given? Because I'm sure this is something they're going to be betting on in Vegas.
God, no clue. No clue.
But you know,
so my assumption
are you
is,
funding them or what?
No, I'm not funding this. Yeah, I don't know where
aren't you the building?
Say again.
You're the one that has, right, in Michigan?
Yeah, well, I do, and I was, you know, when I called you a couple of weeks ago, I was going to attempt to get some insight as to what is this guy going to get any money, or should I sell the building? Because I have buyers for the building.
I'd sell it. I'd tell you right now, sell it. Yeah, I would sell it.
Okay. Well, I
seriously mean, cut your losses.
Okay. All right. Well,
who knows? We all may need money for lawyers.
Yeah, either that or a grass shack on a beach someplace. Who knows?
Non-extradition country.
Say again.
I said a non-extradition country.
No, I don't think there's any place on. I mean, I don't think you'd be safe anywhere. If you know, regardless. I mean, even a non-extradition
Dominican
country.
Republic, Costa Rica.
Yeah. Okay. So bottom line, from your perspective, this is a joke. This isn't going anywhere. So all that's going to happen is these guys they're haunting this thing are going to end up going to jail. If they
do you really think Tim Turner? Do you really think, in your heart of hearts, do you really think that Tim Turner can do anything that he said he could? All these promises that he's mentioned, do you think for a second he can pull them off?
Two comments. Comment number one is, to date, not one single promise has been come into fruition. We were told back in February, funding was 2 weeks away, a couple of weeks away, back in February. Everything that has been predicted, I won't say prophesied, but proposed it's going to transpire, not one thing has happened. So the credibility is like zero at this point in time. In all seriousness, answering your question of whether he can pull this thing off or not, I honestly don't know. I mean, I accepted the man at face value. I accepted what he told me. When we met with Jerry, with a small group of us back on Mother's Day weekend, I felt these guys could get this thing. Well, two comments. One was, yeah, they might be able to get it done, but as I looked at who was leading this thing, I said, I just don't see that they have the organizational skills, the competency, the expertise to get to the end point. And but I said, I'll throw my hat in and I'll help you because I think it's important to do this. And unfortunately, it's been It's been just say disappointing, very disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, all the.
I mean.
We just say all.
I said I look at how many people are in jail using Tim Turner's process. I mean, just the trail of darkness behind this guy is absolutely amazing, because so far none of his stuff works. People go to jail and lose their property and everything else, and it's nothing but a nightmare for people out there that believed in him. How many more people are going to suck up this Kool-Aid? They'd be better off just getting stoned and going to a concert. You know, and
I won't concur with that. I won't concur with that statement, but yeah, I understand the point.
They'd be better off. I mean, who are these who are these people that are what's called a media team? Who are these people? Do you know them?
Bunch of amateurs, incompetents. I mean,
but are they?
Yeah.
Do they get up, have a bowl of arrogance for breakfast, and drink it down with a glass of stupidity? There's no wisdom in this group. You're the smartest one I've heard so far.
Okay.
And I mean, Jesus, they have no clue what this guy is.
Do you have insight there that you can share? Do you have any insight there that you can share?
Well, my intelligence guys tell me some very horrific things about Jesus. I question his sexuality.
Well, I'll just tell you that from a spiritual perspective, I am not. That's a person to stay far away from.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially when I'm by my guys, they got pictures of him coming out of bathhouses in San Francisco. They got pictures of him with other men. Give me a break. I don't even want to see that, Andy. The guy's a joke. Why would you give the keys to the kingdom to a janitor? What would happen to IBM if the cleaning crew won the executive positions in IBM for a month? The only thing that would happen, hallways would be clean, the toilets would be clean, and the trash cans would be emptied. Really good for a month, because they don't have the mental capacity to go past that. Jesus doesn't have the mental capacity. Thank God that bodily functions are just a natural event, because if he had to think about it, he'd be a mess.
Okay. Well, I probably should have talked to you about. I should have talked to you probably 3 months ago.
Look, after I first met the guy, and I mean, he hung on every word, and he's trying to learn what I know, and that's going to take about 10 years. So, I mean, it's. I don't know what to tell anybody, but right now, nobody's going to be funded. Nothing's going to happen. Everything is going to be put to rest for a while until the dust settles, and I can see some constitutional lawyers come forward and say who's doing what right and who's not. But, yeah, the country needs to be saved, yes. And is it constitutional for the de jure government to be set up? Yes. But there's ways to do it without scaring the hell out of everybody. You can't go in there thumping your fist at the powers to be and not expect your head to get chopped off. And, there's just so many contradictions with Tim. I mean, I'm sitting here listening to all the stuff that he's doing, and, I don't want to be bothered with him anymore. I really don't. I mean, I'm very, very busy in a whole nother endeavor right now where I can make a ton of money and relax the rest of my life. Well, what are you doing? I mean, I understand you're a wealthy man. I mean, I don't even know how you made your money or whatever. It's really none of my business. But, Jerry tells me that you're an all right guy and that you're an interesting fellow, and your wife's got a great voice, and she's a very pretty gal, and they like you, and so on. I mean, how do people get mixed up in this mess? It's because we believe. We know something needs to be done, but we get hoodwinked very easily when we hear the right things or what we want to hear. And that's what Tim Turner is telling everybody, what they want to hear. But what he's doing and how he's promoting this is extremely dangerous, because he claims they've got the military support. He doesn't have any military support. They claim they've got they had an account set up that could have helped them, and they didn't do anything with it. And right now, Colonel Pangle wants nothing to do with Tim Turner. Period. They don't have any communications with the Joint Chiefs. The only Joint Chiefs they are is a bunch of Indians sitting around smoking pot. You get the Joint and the Chiefs joke, you know?
Yeah, okay.
That's the only Joint Chiefs they know. They don't have any military intel. They don't have any intel whatsoever. And their involvement with Tom Schultz is shady. I believe they're still involved with Tom Schultz.
Well, you know, I mean, what we were told on that front, I don't know if you can confirm or not, was that Tom, when it came right down to it, was working with some Bush 43 folks, and they were in the process of setting up a military dictatorship. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what, again.
What do you think Tim's doing? What do you think Tim's doing? Tim's doing the same thing with it's just got a tie on it. That's all.
Well,
Tim used to be with FEMA.
Yeah, I understand. But I mean, when you set up a structure that is prepared to step up, you know, when you set up a Congress and you set up a court system and you set up all these infrastructural things that you need in order to have a functional government, you know, the assumption we made was that there was legitimacy to this. And you go back and your comment earlier about constitutional lawyers, I'm not sure who those guys would be. And at this point in time, I don't know if you get 5 of them in a room together and have them agree as to what the process should be. I don't know if you could. Again, I'm going back to so much disinformation, misinformation, misdirection, wrong direction. Every time somebody does something in this process, it seems there's a whole plethora of folks that get pissed off and split off and say, we ain't participating because you're doing what's wrong. And I've been
the
sitting
thing
here watching
that I'm dealing with is I'm dealing directly with a group of common law lawyers. That's what I have to go by, what has been given by the guidelines of the U.S. Supreme Court. And that's what I'm paying attention to. And, you know, for the longest time, I really didn't even care.
Yeah.
I just really didn't even care. It wasn't even on my radar, so to speak, until I was brought forward to meet with Mr. Turner to try to help get them funded.
And of course, I got the case of stupids and couldn't figure out how to do that. I mean, that's another half an hour conversation. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Every one of the resources I brought to the table is because of Tim, has pulled away and has stayed away. And what Tim and Tom had done put one of my clients' lives in jeopardy, and they're not real happy about that. And I'm trying to keep that calm and keep that settled, because I don't want them retaliating for it, because it would not be good if they wanted to retaliate. These guys are scary at best, and to me they're just a bunch of rednecks trying to act like executives. You know, and I just heard horror stories about what went on in Utah, and that absolutely blew me away. That absolutely blew me away. They would act like that and expect people to respect them. I was stunned.
Yeah, to be honest, I was minimally involved. I mean, I provided a building that I had just purchased because I needed a place to meet.
Yeah.
I never saw or read the documents that came out of those meetings they left here and did not have, until yesterday, I had not had a word from any of them in terms of feedback.